Today's topic is about the stories in our mind and how they limit us from our potential. What is going on up here that's stopping us from achieving what's out there? And it kind of relates to why I continued in the work that I was doing and how scary it was to leave something that was comfortable. I guess that's a big part of where I'm at right now with my own life transformation and leaving my job and starting new work and creating my own is I'm allowing those stories to kind of control me and to control my energy. Not all the time, but they come and they go like waves. I'll go a couple days feeling really inspired and motivated with, the choice that I made and where I'm going. And, kind of working for myself now and spending more time with creating some content. And then I'll get these stories that pop up in my mind that, like today, I was just letting every little thing stop me from making some content. Some days I'll get, a story in my head that tells me that was a bad decision to leave your job. That was a good, solid career. That was a good opportunity. We're in a pandemic right now. People are begging for work, and here you are just like quitting your job. They're trying to lure me away from doing what I feel like I should be doing. And we can listen to them and abide by them, or we can put them aside and continue doing what we want to do. The stories are really powerful, and understanding that the stories in our mind aren't truth is also very powerful. We can make up the most bogus stories about things or about ourselves or what we think might be going on, and we can live them like they're real and then find out that that wasn't true at all. And then you just spent that amount of time feeling like something was true and feeling those emotions, and then realize that none of it was true and that there was no need to feel or think about those things. Listening to our heart is way more powerful than listening to our brain. Our heart is kind of our truth, and our mind can make up stories about anything and everything. Like, just think how powerful your mind is. Our imagination is like limitless. We can make up any kind of story in our mind, and if we want, we can feel it as it's real or true, when in reality it's the farthest from truth. I could visualize putting the pen through my hand and how much pain that could be and what it would look like and how it would feel in the blood, but it's not actually happening. It's not my reality. I'm just thinking about it, and I can feel it if I want. It kind of just shows you how powerful our thought process is. Our brain produces something like 60,000 random thoughts a day, and it's like they're not all real and they're not all truth. And it's about kind of learning to control the thought process, and that's where meditation comes in. It's just funny how we make up stories to limit our potential, or we tell ourselves that we're not good enough to do those things. Another example for me was I went to school for coaching like 8 years ago. And I started coaching, and I had some clients, and I was starting the momentum. And then I kind of had some trauma in my life. I had the shoulder injury. I kind of fell into some addictions. I was just in a rut. And the stories started to play in my mind that I can't coach when I'm in that state. I can't help other people when I can't even help myself. And then the stories come into my mind that, you don't have enough experience or you don't have enough training, and it's like all a load of bullshit. And that was where I made a big shift in the last 2 months of leaving my job and realizing like I'm running from my calling. I'm running from my dharma. And that was a big part of feeling like every day was a waste of existence doing what I was doing, because I wasn't doing what I was in love with. Even though I hadn't been coaching and I hadn't been speaking and sharing content, I just felt like I was disconnected from what I loved, and I was like wasting my time. Just wasting away, doing a job and doing things that just didn't fulfill me. They didn't have meaning to me. They weren't filling up my heart. Stories are a powerful thing. We tell stories to people. We've been told stories. Stories carry a lot of truth, and stories can carry a lot of toxicity. We need to understand that we have stories going through our mind all the time. When we don't have control over it, that starts to control our life. When we start disconnecting from the breath and the heart, and we start living in our mind and living within those stories, it's easy to stay stuck. It's easy to feel in a rut. It's easy to not do the things that are hard. If we want to make some big changes, we've got to do the things that are challenging for us. And that's where stories will kind of tell us otherwise. And we'll make up things that will lead us away from doing the things that are challenging. It's kind of how the mind can work. When the mind isn't under control, it can really control the rest of our life. For myself, I've been really trying to tell the stories to shut up. Especially when it comes to coaching and sharing content. I keep telling myself that you're not good enough. And I think a lot of people might relate to that. It could be with the way that we show up in our relationship. It could be the way that we work a current job because we don't feel good enough to actually go and chase after the job of our dreams. We're allowing that story in our mind that we're not good enough to limit our potential. That's why I'm such a believer that creating structure and routines and 30-day challenges and implementing morning rituals is the most powerful thing we can do, because those are the things that connect us back with ourselves. Those are the things that connect us with our awareness, our consciousness, our higher self. Reconnecting with the breath is a way of learning to put the stories aside and just focus here. Stories can kill us. The stories that our mind can create can literally kill us. So that's where we need to create awareness around these tools and techniques of reconnecting with ourselves and reconnecting with our higher self and reconnecting with our purpose and our passions and doing what actually feels good in the heart and not doing what we think is right or what society thinks is proper. I spent years fighting myself in my mind and in my heart of taking over the family business was like the best opportunity in the world, and that I was, stupid to throw that away. If I step away from this, am I going to regret it and wish that I'd continued with it? My heart was telling me, that's not your calling. That's a great opportunity and you've learned so much from that opportunity, but hey Ty, you know what your calling is, you know what your dharma is, and you're running from it, and you're allowing the stories of society to keep you from doing what it is that you need to be doing. We need to tell the stories to shut up, and we need to start connecting with ourselves again and listening to our heart and our soul and what our existence is during this lifetime. That's where we have to stop those stories and start listening to the feelings within our heart of what our calling is and what feels fulfilling to us, and believe that the universe has our back. When you make the leap or the jump towards what it is that you want, what you truly want, the universe will have your back. It might not be easy and it might not happen as fast as you expect, but if you believe, it will be created. Learning that the stories in our mind can either work for us or they can work against us. There's tools and techniques that we can use to kind of quiet those stories. And the tools and the techniques that are meant to reconnect ourselves with ourselves are the most powerful things that we can kind of implement into our life. When we're feeling stuck and at rock bottom, sick and tired of feeling sick and tired, reevaluate how you're spending your mornings, how you're spending your days. Are you fulfilling your days with healthy, nurturing things? Or are you spending your day on your phone and eating shitty food? What stories in your mind are leading you towards running to the store and buying the cake. And I say that because I'm guilty. I'll buy a whole cake and eat the whole thing because the story in my head is if I'm not feeling that good, the cake and the sugar is going to make me feel good. And the other story behind it is I might as well eat the whole thing tonight so that tomorrow I don't have to worry about having that cake and feel bad about having a full cake. So let's just get rid of the cake or the tub of ice cream tonight and we'll start over again tomorrow. When we start to control the stories and become aware of the stories and question the stories, we really start to take control of our life and the path of our life and what we want to achieve and what feels fulfilling and what feels motivating and inspiring. Life is about positive experiences and love and purpose and passion. What stories are in your mind that are taking you away from that? What stories do you have circulating in your mind about yourself, about your career or your abilities, about your relationships and friendships? What stories come up? Maybe from today forward, when you have a story jump in your mind, question it. Is that truth? Is that actually happening in reality? Or am I just creating this? Is my imagination just creating this? And that all has to do with things we've gone through, things that we watch on TV, past programming, past traumas. There's multiple factors of why we come up with these stories, but it's important to just be aware that they're not all true. And there's ways to control those stories and there's ways to evaluate them. And that's a big part of journaling for me is, like writing down stories that are in my mind and questioning them and saying, no, that's not true. Like that, I thought that could be true, but it's not. Sometimes it's just that process of writing it on the paper to actually kind of evaluate whether or not it's truth or false. The mind is very powerful, and not all thoughts are true, and not all stories are actually happening. Create awareness around the stories, question them, and reevaluate them. Are they leading you towards your own truth and calling, or are they leading you back towards what's easy and comfortable? Every day, I get stories popping up about whether I should have left my job or not, whether I should have taken that business and made it my own, or whether I should return to it because what else are you going to do? Then I have to be aware of those stories and start questioning whether or not it's like truth and reminding myself of my power and being connected to my higher self, and that I know what my calling is and I know what my purpose is. And I'm doing these things and I believe in these things and I remind myself that the universe has my back. Life is good. We create it as we go. How are the stories in your mind limiting your potential in this lifetime? Why are those stories taking you away from your truth and towards what's comfortable and easy? What stories are coming up in your mind that are stopping you from doing that dream job or creating that dream position or moving to that dream location? Stories are a powerful thing. The mind is a very powerful thing. Learning to control them can create and change your life for yourself and for your relationships and for your job. Connecting with yourself through meditation and yoga and nature and exercise and journaling and reading are all ways to create that inner energy and that inner control so that we can better ourselves and that we can tell those stories to go away and that they're not true and realize what our truth is. So thank you for tuning in today. I appreciate all the love and support. Subscribe, like, share, comment for me. Give me a thumbs up or a thumbs down. Let me know what you thought. And stay tuned for more.